brought to you almost live from the Dude in the Basement Studios. Why? Because that's where the good stuff is. It's Sips, Suds, and Smokes with your smoking host, the good old boys. Suds. It's time for more Suds.
Hey, welcome everyone to another Suds segment where good beer meets really bad radio. With me today at this big table that's full of beer is good old boy Dave.
Big.
I was being facetious.
Big if it was in a dollhouse. Hi, everyone.
Good old boy Mike.
Hey, it's good old boy Mike. Great to be back with everybody.
Yay.
Hey, that was good old boy Mike. He's happy to be back.
I guess he is, yeah.
I'm optimistic. I'm just waiting for the big table to arrive.
Good old boy Tim.
Hey, how's it going? Good old boy Tim here. Just wondering why this show's not being done in an RV.
Future episodes.
Wow. Well, thanks for blowing the mystique. We could have convinced everyone we were in an RV.
Well, we could bring the table. It would fit.
A mobile RV show with a lab that has not been serviced on a regular basis. With beer.
Awesome.
Yeah.
With all due respect, and remember, I'm saying with all due respect, that idea ain't worth a velvet painting of a whale and a dolphin getting it on.
I agree.
Oh, and good old boy Kendall. Hey.
It's been a while. It's great to be back. Cheers.
Well, today's episode is a bottle share, and the theme of our bottle share is road trip beers.
Oh, cool. Pack up the van. We're hitting the road.
Now, who gets to play the part of Chevy today?
Who's the dumbest one here?
Well, that would probably be me. So, come on, kids. We're going to Wally World. See how I know you can't see it on the radio, but I got my eyes, really big, that
They're
way that he
out.
always says, shakes his head. He has that look about him.
Well, we're not hitting the road per se, but we're going to be talking about beer that we bought when we went on a beercation, or just traveling to get beer, or maybe even something someone brought back for us from a road trip. I think it's safe to say that pretty much everyone at this table has either planned a trip somewhere to visit a specific brewery or festival, and no trip would be complete without a trip to a bottle shop, or 2 or 20 to pick up a special beer, or 2 or 20.
Bottle or 2. We usually buy so much beer the owner wants to get his picture made with us.
Hey, wait a second. That only happened once. Now, where were we?
I think we're about to talk about some beers and how the fact that we're on a few wanted posters in about 10 and a half states.
I thought they were not wanted posters.
Okay. Well, usually we list all of the beers that we're discussing in advance, but since this is a bottle share, we're going to wait and let each host introduce the beer of their choice.
We have to wait for beer, really?
Hey, look, you got a couple there in front of you.
All right.
You're okay. Good old boy Kendall, why don't you start us off with the Suds ratings?
I'm happy to. We'll be discussing and rating these beers with the Suds ratings plus our signature belching sounds. Here are those ratings now. 1, that sucks. Give me anything but a bud. 2, was that a belch? 3, what a relief. 4, a body should really not make that sound. And 5, listen to that hang time. Give me another.
Don't want anybody doing that in the car.
I had this funny story about our belch sounds. So they have these tattoos that you can get that are actually a sound wave. They're called sound tattoos. And you put your phone up to it and it reads the sound wave and it actually plays the sound. So, of course, everybody asked me, what would I put on my tattoo that was a sound wave? And I said, of course, it would be a belch.
Nice.
So, yeah.
But would it be a Suds 5 or?
Oh, yeah. Totally, yeah. I'm a Suds 5 all the way, Dave.
How about that?
But
I was wondering what button I was going to get.
yeah.
So many choices.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, really. Okay. Well, thank you, good old boy Kendall. And now let's get to the beer. Good old boy Dave, why don't you start us off?
Sure.
I have to go to the bathroom. It's a road trip.
Are we there yet?
Are we there yet?
Well, I'll tell you something. This is no longer a vacation. It's a quest.
Yes, it's a quest for you all to shut up and let me start.
Wow. Brutal, aren't we today?
Don't make me stop this car.
Yeah,
That's right.
Don't make me turn this thing around. The beer I brought today is Domestique from Anthem Brewing in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
I like how Dave butchered the very first beer name right off the bat, just so we won't confuse our audience, that we actually know what we're doing here. So if you would pick beer names that actually can be pronounced.
Well, it's a French word with
We got
French
like 2 or 3 of them today that we're going to
on
really
here.
hose up, so I like that.
Well, then it's just a normal show. This is from Anthem's website. It is a special Belgian beer. It's actually a barrel-aged quad. Domestique is a road bicycle racer who works for the benefit of his team and leader. This artfully crafted quad is an homage. See that? Homage. I didn't say homage. To the hardworking,
It's a big word for Dave.
selfless overachiever. That's a lot of words right in a row. Whose only goal is to better their team, like what I do for this podcast. So if you put in countless hours, like I do, at whatever your anthem is, rock on. That's my anthem. With little to no recognition. That's damn straight. We made this for you. Cheers. This is a barrel-aged quad that is 10% ABV. So we picked this up last October. Julie and I drove, against my wishes and better judgment, to GABF in Denver via Missouri,
14 states.
Kentucky, Missouri, Iowa, Nebraska,
Were there parts of
Wyoming, possibly, but we can't talk about international incidences. Colorado, back through New Mexico, and then Oklahoma. And we stopped in Oklahoma City and went to Anthem in the middle of the day.
There were many aliens.
I think you have to say undocumented.
Y'all ain't from around here, are you?
You got a pretty mouth, boy. Let's not turn it into one of those shows, Mike.
It's already there.
Yeah,
Yep,
we
that's
already went there.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, that exit was a couple miles ago.
Boat's already sailed. So, so we stopped at their tap room. It was kind of an industrial area, but it was a really cool tap room. The people were nice, and they had several good beers. This is their actual flagship beer. This is the first one they produced, and I think it's pretty good. It's got, I don't know, flavors and aromas. Probably there's some malt, might have some yeast in it. But I'm going to give this a Suds of 4.
So I have, like, in my mind, I don't know what this place looks like, but I have the old location for Avery in my mind, that it is like a place you walk into and go, I'll have a number 32 ball bearings. Could you give me that crankshaft from the 72 Ford? And I'll have the Belgian quad.
Similar. You're not too far off.
Yeah.
So the old Avery location was literally right next to a muffler shop. And it was the only place I knew where you could actually get your car worked on within 50 feet while you were getting a righteous beer at the same time. So
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
a good idea.
But we do not promote drinking and driving. Just let me put that out there.
no, I wouldn't say that. I would say get your car worked on. at the
I'm
same
just keeping this legal.
Yeah. All right. So to get to the
Say it right. Go ahead, tough guy.
Domestique.
Oh, that's not wrong.
Well, I think some of this flavor profile that's, kind of striking me. Usually when I think of a Belgian quad, it's that kind of aged raisin, kind of feeling, and you're still having a lot of wood, and there's a lot of caramel sugars coming over this. This is a bit thin, on that front. That fig, wood thing is not as pronounced in this. You are seeing some of the caramel sweetness that's coming through in this, but even that is still, kind of light for me. This tastes like a beer that is between now and where it's going to wind up in development. And so, there are like 3 or 4 recipes from really kind of bringing this around. So I don't know. It does have a bit of a bitter finish, which is a bit strange. Sorry, I need to take one more swig here before I give this my Suds rating. I'm going to give this a Suds of 3. But I still wonder about the whole thing if you were to walk up to the counter. What kind of warranty job would you get at the same time, if you got like a bad beer? Do you think...
Oh, 30 days.
30-day warranty on the beer?
You can't go too long.
Of course, the crankshaft, you're screwed the moment you walk out the door.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Drops
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you pay $10 for the beer, it's only worth $5 once you get out the door.
Probably have a big sign in the back that says, it's not our fault, you're a moron and don't know how to order effectively.
Yeah, most auto parts stores have a sign like that.
Correct, yeah.
I think usually the guys are wearing it on a shirt.
Okay, more
their
discussions
face.
later after this brief break.
Rolling clouds and crashing surf, iridescent dunes reflecting by the light of a rising, glowing moon. Seashore mesmerizing, night breeze hypnotizing. We've come across these back roads none too soon. Look to the left, to the right. Keep your eyes on the road, my darling. Wondering if we're only passing through. Open roads and open windows. My hand is yours forever, sweet love.
Welcome back, everyone. We're in the middle of discussing a road trip beer thing.
Can we stop talking about this and discuss what's in front of Tim? I mean, oh my gosh. I can't believe we couldn't. Anyway, we'll finish the Domestique.
We have an homage to Domestique.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
I'll finish that. Holy cow.
C'est la vie.
Can we fast forward quickly?
All right.
Well,
Wow.
Tim, well, good old boy Tim, what's your take on the Domestique?
Yeah, this beer is really interesting in the sense that there is a lot going on. I can see definitely what Mike's saying about it developing more over time. The first thing I noticed when I have this is definitely the booziness up front. I didn't know it was 10%, but that's not terribly surprising. I get hints of some, maybe not fig-like, but raisin or dark fruit character. You get a little barrel-aged character as well. And some dark grain as well as some coffee or toffee, something like that going on. I don't know if they're similar flavors, but they're similar words, so I feel like you can get both in one. But overall, I thought it was a really good beer, though, and I gave the Suds rating of 4.
If you had to pair this with a car part that you would order, what would it be?
Oh, man, probably the alternator.
Trouble with the horn? What? A little trouble with your horn? Yeah.
Good old boy Kendall, what did you think about this beer?
First word I wrote down was alcohol. That's what I picked up immediately.
Yeah.
And then I tasted it, and I didn't know what it was. I was thinking, is this like a dark, big Saison because I just didn't get what I expected out of a barrel-aged quad. It's thin. It's maybe it just needs some more time, but I don't know if that time is going to help the thinness. But the alcohol, it's not really a lot of heat, but it almost adds a astringency. I think Mike said bitter. It kind of like dried out my mouth and just didn't have a great finish on it. This is one that I wanted more from it, and maybe it will age a little better. But for me right now, it's just a 2.
Wow. I remember having this at the tap room and really enjoying it. And then when I saw that they had bottles, I was like, hey, yeah, let's bring one home. I like it. It's a little thin for the style, but I'm getting toffee notes. I'm getting some dark fruits, not a lot. I mean, that you would expect from a Belgian quad, but I am like Tim said, I am getting like a raisiny aspect of it, if not, going into the deeper fruits. I like the barrel on this one a lot. I could really taste it. And well, me, I like barrels. I gave this a 4.
She does like barrels, by the way. She does.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
What car part would you pair this with?
Spark plug.
I can see that.
She answered that really quickly.
I know.
Confidently.
She had a little bit of time to think.
She was thinking about it.
I caught off the fly. I didn't even get to ask Kendall. So anyway.
Good old boy Mike, what beer did you sort of bring to the table today?
Well, I'm going to talk about a beer that we picked up in Gainesville at Swamphead Brewing. It is called Saison du Swamp, and this is ABV of 7.6%. It is a Pilsner. I would call it Pilsner Swamp Water. Actually, Julieanna has all of the full description of everything that's in this. You have that still handy?
I do.
Anyway, while she's looking at
No, I do. The malts that they use in this is Pilsner, Vienna, flaked wheat, flaked oats, and flaked rye.
So this is very difficult for me to talk about
I love
a brewery in Gainesville. I am a diehard Vols fan, and for me not to
this feels so
take
good.
this moment to, channel the inner Gainesville people, So a lot of people don't know that in the middle of Florida, this is like full blown. I mean, you got a lot really get into it, and people from Ocala are a little slow when they talk.
It's like they dropped Alabama in the middle of Florida.
That's a compliment to Alabama.
Once again.
So when I talk about this beer from Gainesville, I think you gotta channel people and how they're speaking in that part of the country, so.
But this is from a Tennessee fan? I mean, doesn't Knoxville get that same rap?
No, we just talk different. We know which words to use.
And then somehow Tim was never invited back.
I'm sorry. Let me unplug the microphone here. So.
Hey, what happened to Tim?
He left with his beer.
He would leave the beer here, actually.
Producer's prerogative. Just cut Tim out. All right, so. This is a really good brewery in Gainesville, and we actually got to know this brewery on our trip to the Beer Bloggers Conference last year in Tampa. We talked about a lot of beers on that trip, a few from Jacksonville, a few from Gainesville, a lot from Tampa and St. Pete. And I think we talked about one beer from here from Swamphead, right?
We've talked about 10-10-10 before. We had it at GABF the first time, but we've tried it since then too.
Yeah, and I think we discussed Tropical Disturbance from them as well.
Yeah, and their smoked porter, I forget what it's called, but they're all really good.
So the thing is I think this fits the genre of the audience in Gainesville very well. It is a very malt forward beer. It is very quaffable. It has really soft bitterness around it. It's a bit creamy. I would say that it goes head to head with a lot of macro beer. This is one of those things you come in and go, I have a pitcher of swamp, and they know exactly what you want. So, I think it's a
pitcher of swamp.
Yeah.
I think that's actually one of their beers.
Mm-hmm.
But this color might be a little nicer.
Yeah. It does have a bit of a sweet finish to it. I think that's probably my only critique about it in terms of maybe something that is a little off. I like Saisons that tend to finish out neutral or a bit dry. So a bit of a sweet finish off this is maybe not my jam, but my Suds rating for the Saison du Swamp is going to be a 3.
Cool. Go to Bite Tim. What did you think of this?
Don't have to pair this with car parts.
I was worried for a second.
Just with the
inbreds,
intellectually mystique.
Well, I've spent a little time in Gainesville as well, mostly around the university visiting some friends, but I grew up on the other side as a Florida State fan, so I've since kind of lost that allegiance.
Wow.
But
So you can talk about them in a disparaging manner with
still,
prejudice.
It
I
puts
like
a
that.
bad flavor in your mouth. I remember my younger brother had the wallpaper, and I probably didn't like the Gators just out of spite, out of hatred for your younger brother, as those things go.
Sure.
So immediately, this would put a bad flavor in my mouth, but I liked the beer a lot. It does. I've been to the Swamp, as it's known, where the Gators play football, and you could slam some of this beer on a hot day down there because it gets pretty freaking hot. So I think Mike kind of echoed what I was thinking. I mean, immediately I smell a lot of Pilsner malt and just kind of light malt body, and it's taking the Saison and not doing anything too crazy with it. You would think in Florida they would maybe ferment it at a high temperature and get some different wild, funkier flavors going on there, but it seems a little more subdued, and you get some esters or some normal Saison flavor, but nothing too crazy. But it was good, and again, I wouldn't mind drinking a pitcher of Swamp, so I gave it a Suds rating of 3.
Old pitcher Swamp.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Let me go ahead and hit this again because it goes without saying, but now we can't go to Florida, everybody. So
I have a story at the end after you guys go through.
Good old boy, Kendall. What did you think of this beer?
Similar comments to what the others have said. Get a real crackery sweetness off of this one from the malt, and it's definitely a Saison that is malt forward, and that's okay. There's a little bit of bitterness on that finish, but I wasn't getting the big peppery flavors I like out of my Saisons or that dry finish, but it's a good beer overall. That's why I'm giving it a 3.
Me, I liked it. I liked the creaminess of it, and it was a little sweet, but I thought it was a decent Saison, especially for coming from that part of Florida, I gave it a 4.
cool.
I like how she was trying to get into it. I'm going to give it a 4.
Wow. So I feel that
We're out of Florida. We can talk normal now, right?
oh
Yeah.
yeah, okay. So I think this beer's pretty good. I do think it finishes a little sweet for the style, but I don't find it very off-putting. I kind of like it's almost like a honey sweetness to me. So I gave this beer a 4. Mike, please tell us your funny story.
Oh, well, I had a quick one. So my uncle went to veterinary school at University of Florida. And what's funny is his son actually finished his undergraduate at Florida State, which was strange because my cousin was probably in the top 10 academically in the entire state and couldn't even get into the University of Florida, even though his dad was alumni.
Didn't play football, huh?
Crazy. Anyway, so today happens to be my wedding anniversary. I've been married 28 years to the same gorgeous woman. So
Aww.
He apparently has a serious lack of judgment.
yeah, I would say go drink beer with everybody, babe.
That's mighty fun, Clark.
So actually, one of the dates we had was to go up and visit with my uncle. and my aunt. I don't know if they were married at the time or not. I don't believe they were. I think they were still dating, and we decided to go up to Gainesville to see a concert. And what happened is
Tom Petty, maybe?
I'll tell you who it is,
Okay.
and you'll be floored when I tell you who it is in a second. So we're driving up there, and on my uncle and aunt, they promised one of the other tickets to one of the other friends, and so the two of us couldn't go to the concert. We drove all the way to Gainesville to go to this concert,
that's
but
romantic.
only one of us could go to this concert, and it was for U2 at the Swamp.
Wow.
And yeah, I know. And it was like one of the first. I think it was the Joshua Tree, tour. And I guess that's Rattle and Hum. And so I ended up letting my girlfriend, my wife now, actually go to the concert.
Well played, sir.
Thank you. Yeah.
So she went and met up with one of the other couple?
Oh, well, she went with my aunt and my uncle, and then
they went as well.
Yeah, so yeah.
And this was the first time meeting your aunt and uncle?
No.
Okay.
No. It wasn't the first time we all met.
Of course he had met his aunt and uncle before.
I ended up staying home with their dogs and watching some really crappy movies. So anyway.
Did you have beer?
No, I did not have beer. But if I had a beer like the Swamp, I'd probably been okay. So.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Oh, we're gonna get
long-winded. Yes.
Damn,
Now we're
Tim,
gonna get
things
okay.
up. Well, I can't believe I took any of this thunder. Wow.
Well, good old boy Tim.
My glass is not full enough. I just want to say that in advance.
No one's glass is full.
Not for this stuff.
There's more.
Please, let's introduce your road beer.
All right, listen, people. This is the good.
This is where it gets real.
So you need to settle down. You need to listen very close to Tim. That's all I got to say.
You should have fast forwarded through all that
All
other
that
crap.
that I was saying, right?
We still have the editing room to go through, right? So there's still hope. Well, I brought a beer from Scratch Brewing, or Scratch
Well, that's cool.
Brewing Company. I look at it now and it says Scratch Beer. So I thought, well, maybe it's Scratch
As our
Beer.
sound editor is going, please stop! Don't drink it.
And so this is a beer from Ava, Illinois, Southern Illinois, and it's the second most recent beer trip that I've done, but probably the most rewarding. So about 2 months ago, myself and 3 other good old boys took a road trip up to Illinois.
Trouble with the horn? What?
With the sole idea of going to this brewery that I've been wanting to go to for a long time. So if you're not familiar with Scratch, they've been around for a couple years now. They're in a very rural part of Illinois, and they've made probably the most noise at GABF. They've done some things like one year they brought a beer that was only made with not only trees, but all the beers had trees in them.
Yeah, that was good. Hickory and oak and
yeah, and they did another one where it was all mushroom beers, which is kind of
the chanterelle. Ooh.
sounds off-putting, but
no,
surprisingly not.
It's yummy.
that one that kind of makes you trip when you drink it and you get all weird and see odd colors.
That's a whole different.
Yeah, that was a home brew.
Oh wait, that's something something I found out in the yard.
Why not try it?
Yeah.
So, Scratch, the problem, it almost sounds gimmicky, like, oh, they made these beers with trees and they made these beers with mushrooms, but the reality is it's not like that at all. They get most of the things off their property. They forage. You go there and it's the real deal. There's, no big ego there or anything like that.
No one wears clothes.
It's optional.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's maybe not Gainesville, Florida, but it's
You have
rural
to be
Illinois.
very careful when you're brewing without pants on, from what I hear.
The mash is fine. The
if
boils
it
when
foams
it gets...
over on you, you're kind of done.
So today
a clothing optional beer. I just never thought we'd cover that.
Think
That
of
sounds
the-
like a show unto itself.
Think of the microbes you'd gather there.
Yeah, it's taking the beard beer to a whole nother level.
Oh man, that's nasty. Oh,
All right, so tell us about this beer, Tim.
So this delicious beer that I brought while brewed with pants it is a Sumac beer. And so the description is that it's a beer brewed without hops, which is actually common for them. So it's bittered and flavored with staghorn sumac.
Wow.
Yellow sweet clover.
That's what I couldn't pick up.
And it's rested on toasted oak heartwood.
You thought it was a different kind of clover, didn't you?
Right.
I was going with the white sweet clover, but it's yellow sweet clover for those clover
I
enthusiasts.
think that's one of those beers you hand to somebody and go, I'll give you $1,000 and you can tell me what's in that.
Yeah, the problem is I don't know what any of those flavors taste like,
yeah.
actually. I don't even know what heartwood is. What is heartwood?
I wouldn't even know what sumac tastes
So
like.
this is kind of like a gruit, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you could, and
You
so
could
it's
call it
also
that,
fermented
sure.
out with their mixed culture. So it is a sour beer, which is pretty common for them as
Freaking
well.
amazing.
Best BS answer I've ever heard out of Dave.
Today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think this tastes like a gruit.
so they had a hickory one from them that also no hops used, and it had a bitter flavor. But why can't you get bitterness? You can get bitterness out of tons of things. So it's
Like Mike.
Like Dave.
it's not hard to extract
played,
either.
sir.
Wait, let's play rock, paper, scissors. 1, 2, 3. Oh, well.
They're equally bitter.
They both did scissors.
Dave has the hop shirt on, so we're
Yeah.
going to give the title to him for today. Man,
All right.
so I have another trip to Scratch planned soon. I'll have to bring back some other beer, and we were talking about it. The idea now is to go and just camp there. I don't know if you can camp on their property, but
They might turn you into a beer.
So I talked to Caperton about this briefly, and the thing is that my idea of camping is to pull up with a $1.3 million RV. That's my idea of
that's what we
camping.
needed for the show today. Where was that at?
Right. What the well-service laugh. That's all I got to say, So sure, I'm in if I can bring the RV, okay?
If you bring the RV, yeah, sure, you can come. I don't think it'll be there, though, without your
Do I get
assistance.
a T-shirt? I got the Sumac beer.
Absolutely. I'm getting them printed up now.
The Poison Sumac. What's your rating?
My rating for this beer is a 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
that's a long one.
How many trees do you think they have around the place that they actually...
There are, I can confirm there are many trees around it.
probably
They have
place
goats
a
there
bunch.
as well. Never
All
been to a brewery
We'll
with
be
goats.
back with Good Old Boy Kendall and his take on this in
When's
just a
this goat
minute.
beer coming out?
Destination, but baby, the whole elation of riding down this lover's avenue. As slow as the willow blows, or as fast as the whirlwind grows, we glide beneath the stars in cobalt blue. Look to the left, to the right. Keep your eyes on the road, my darling. Wondering if we're only passing through. Open roads and open windows. My hand is yours forever, sweet love. Our eyes ahead on these back roads with a view.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. We are in the midst of a road trip show and tell.
Oh, God. The dog went on the picnic basket.
Up next is Good Old Boy Kendall to talk about his take on Tim's beer.
Sumac from Scratch Brewing.
It's
Yes.
a beautiful beer. The aromas I got were just bright, almost like a citrus acidity, even though there's no citrus in it. And the flavors, I don't know what sumac or clover or any of that tastes like, but I picked up like hints of cherry and raspberry, just some beautiful tartness in there. And it's amazing how these other botanicals and the wild yeast strain can make some of those flavors that I'm getting out of this. But a beautiful beer. At first, I thought it was a 4. After it warmed up, it got even better. This is a 5.
Yeah, my sentiments exactly. This thing is really extraordinary, and it's extraordinary for what it doesn't have in it, that it's still so flavorful and so yummy, if that makes any sense. Without having hops in a beer and using woods and indigenous items to that part of Illinois, I am so intrigued. we really need to go to this place. Because
there's room in the RV.
Okay, good. Yeah, I need to go. Seriously, next trip, I'm there with you. No, because this is the kind of beer that I want to brew. This is like outside the box. This is on a different planet, but yet it is so flavorful and it's so delicious. I can't have enough. Okay, it's a 5.
5 for me.
And quick one other plug is they did this other beer with Jester King that never touched stainless steel. They boiled it, I don't know if it was in a wood vat, and they boiled it by heating up Missouri granite, like tons of it.
Nice.
And then threw it in the liquid to get the liquid hot enough.
Yeah, Stein beer.
Yeah.
Is that what a Stein beer is?
Yeah, exactly. Like some people use it with rocks.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God, that's so
we did
cool.
that too.
Mike, what do you think?
Mike.
I think that I need to arrange to borrow the tour bus, which has multiple beds, to take us all back to Scratch Brewing.
Do it.
This may go down as, first off, this beer, it reminds me of a brown sour. In fact, I was thinking of an Alvini brown sour that this has very similar taste profile, but this is more complex than probably a typical brown sour to me. There's just these nuances of aroma that, really are quite intriguing. And I like the fact that I actually can't decompose this and just enjoy it for what it is in the glass. So my Suds rating for the Sumac from Scratch Brewing is a 5 all the way. So this brewery may go down as probably one of our favorite for this year. And we may just wind up just going, well, everything is going to be a 5 from them, because everything that I have had from Scratch has just been amazing. So,
until they prove otherwise, everything's a 5.
Yeah. Really amazing brewery. If you get the chance to go there, even to camp, it's in southern Indiana, right? Illinois. I'm sorry. I knew I would get those.
Watch out for the goats.
Backwards.
Okay, good old white Kendall. What beer would you like to talk about?
Okay, I've got a beer here. Now, I would classify all the other beers we've done kind of from the Belgian influence, Saison, a quad, all of that. So I have what I think is a French beer here because it's called Napoleon Complex.
Oui.
Sorry, terrible joke. I was in Asheville several times last month, actually, and I was able to stop and pick up a case of Wicked Weed's Napoleon Complex, which is a hoppy pale ale. Whether you draw the line between a session IPA and a hoppy pale ale, I don't know where that line is, because you could call this beer either. But its description, it's a big little beer with a big punch, hence the Napoleon Complex. I think this is a beautiful beer. I've been drinking a lot of it.
Like a 3.8% or something.
It's a little over 4, but it's pretty small. But
dude,
huge,
that's perfect.
Yeah, but just huge aromas of orange, grapefruit, a little bit of pine, some mango. It tastes like it's done with maybe a light Pilsner malt. The malt it's there, but it doesn't get in the way. But there's not a lot of bitterness. The bitterness is it's a very soft bitterness, all very well balanced, and just these huge tropical and citrus flavors coming off this beer. I think it's probably one of the most balanced, flavorful hoppy pale ales or session IPAs or whatever you want to call it that I've had. I think it's a great example of what you can do with a low ABV, very light, easy drinking beer with tons of flavor. And this is a 5 for me.
This beer really lived up to his name. I mean, I still can't believe the low ABV on this, because it really doesn't taste like that at all. And the creaminess, the hoppiness on this is a good summer beer. I mean, seriously, this is like amazing lawnmower beer type of scenario here. I really, really like this. Thanks for bringing it. And, I gave it a 4. Good old boy, Dave.
It's really good. There's not a lot to say about it that you guys haven't already said. Very hop forward, but light in the The malt is just enough to carry the hops along for you, and it's very kind of refreshing and has a nice smooth finish for me. I give it a 4.
Good boy, Mike.
Well, the first thing that this struck me, and I thought you said this, Kendall, so if you did, it was worth repeating. It tastes like a hoppy Pilsner because it has, it tastes like a lot of Pilsner malt, at least for me. And but the hop profile reminds me of what they have in Pernicious. It almost tastes like that exact same hop blend. And we don't have them side by side here, but at least just from broad recollection that I have around what was in Pernicious.
I think you're close. Yeah, right on.
So I like the fact that they have brought a lot of flavor to something that doesn't pack tremendous ABV. This is a great candidate for a great lawnmower beer. I would definitely say if you like Pilsner malt and you're looking for something just with a bit more punch to it, this is it all the way.
Yeah.
I'm going to give the Napoleon Complex a 3.
Good boy, Tim. What'd you think of this beer?
Echoing a lot of the statements earlier, I think Wicked Weed did well in taking something they do well, which is an IPA or double IPA, and paring it down to the session level. And you especially with that Pilsner or whatever the light malt flavor is, you just get hops and more hops. And it's something also you could drink all day and still remember most of the day. So it's a great beer. It's a great session ale, and I would crush a lot of these. I gave it a 4.
Cool. The beer that I brought is Rubus Viola from Wicked Weed. Now, I didn't know that good old boy Kendall was bringing anything from Wicked Weed, so there's my disclaimer.
I think you two conspired.
Whatever. It's a Wicked Weed revolution. Kidding. So the thing that I really as he's banging his head.
I've never seen you headbutt the microphone before. That was funny.
I had a lot to say.
I guess so. So recently in Asheville, I wanted to try to find this beer because I had heard of its release. Thank you, social media. And was really intrigued by the fact that they were putting violets in a beer.
Violets in a beer?
Violets.
Because usually you get violets from beer, but no violets in a beer.
Okay, look, we're all passive here with our beer. We're passive.
Hey, I just headbutted a microphone. You going to call me passive?
Nothing passive about that.
Okay, fine. So, anyways, I was really intrigued by the idea of what violets in a beer would be like. And when I saw it, of course, I had to grab it. So this is part of their Canvas series, which is kind of like their avant-garde kind of stuff in comparison. And so they used over 1 pound per gallon of boysenberries from Oregon, as well as violets. And then they used their house sour culture with it. It's a limited release, of course, as is a lot of things from Wicked Weed, but I thought it was worth bringing to the table. I really enjoyed it because it was really jammy in the boysenberry / raspberry flavor, but I did get like this fragrant violet, smell on top. I don't know that I necessarily tasted violets, although I don't know what a violet would taste like.
My favorite flavor profile.
Hey, look, I'm here for you.
Mike eats a lot of flowers.
Like the jersey I'm wearing today. I'm here for you. But I really enjoyed it. It kind of reminded me of a tea, like a jammy tea kind of thing. And I don't know, it just got my creative wheels working. I really enjoyed it, and I gave it a 4.
I also liked this beer. I thought it was very fruit forward. The berries really came out. I'm a huge fan of Wicked Weed, and they're kind of like scratched me. Like, I don't think I've had a beer from them that I didn't at least really like. I may not love them all as much as I do some of them, but I think pretty much all I've had from them was really great beers. This one, the sourness was just right. I thought the fruit flavor complemented it well. It was very well rounded, and I gave this a 4.
Good old boy, Mike. What'd you think of this?
Yeah, so for the Wicked Weed Rubus Viola, did I say that incorrectly?
You said
Thank
it terrible.
You. Yeah,
so.
probably did. I think one thing that's striking me is that for me to go all the way from the Saison du Swamp to this in the same flight is a real stretch. So, the one thing that strikes me about this is I think that the berry profile off this is very close to what they use for Red Angel, which is a berry bomb. But they mainly use, I believe, raspberries in Red Angel, where this is a lot sweeter. And I don't think this is the same sour culture for this at all, because they acidic quality that is in that Angel series. There's a base beer they use for all the Angel series. That's not the same thing that's going on here. I thought this was very pleasing. I'm profess that I'm not a huge, berry beer fan.
He loves raspberries.
But that doesn't mean I can't taste it and rate it. Hang on one second. One more sip here. I think it's the what this is not, which is it's not over the not over the top. It's not too tart. The sugars are in check. There's a lot of balance here within this beer. My Suds rating for this is going to be a 4.
Mr. Tim.
Well, back-to-back Wicked Weed beers, and they're obviously very different. I'm going to disagree with Mike here because I do think this is the same base sour flavor that we get from other Wicked Weed beers. So one of us is wrong.
Or both.
Yeah, it could be. That would be more likely, actually.
Dear Walt, I have the compromising photos.
So we might never know the answer.
Yeah, you won't.
Or maybe he'll change the answer. But, I mean, it's possible if you got more acidity or something that could also come from the fruit. It's boysenberries, which I can only speak for myself, but I'm not really sure where that falls between a blackberry and a raspberry.
I think they're more
berry.
Bitter. Boysenberries, I think, are more bitter than some of those other berries. So
okay, well, you get a lot of the same sort of berry flavors, obviously, and it just has that. I don't know. I just call it the Wicked Weed flavor because it just comes through all their sour beers.
No, it does,
in a good
doesn't
way.
it? Yeah.
Right. Exactly. I think it's a good thing, and it gives a lot of consistency to their product, I think, and also I think Wicked Weed, they can be complex beers and they're very tasty. I'm a big fan, but they're also pretty good intro sours in that they're not sweet and they're not the cheap easy sours either, but they don't, I don't know, they don't stress your palate too much, in my opinion, especially with all the fruit they put in. They put in so much fruit in different beers like this one that if you like fruit, you're probably going to like it. So overall, I couldn't get any violets out of this, which is, I don't really know what I was looking for. It was tough. But
it may be all violets for all we know.
I think that's what I tasted.
God, this thing's just brimming with violets. Yeah.
Could have been better than, I didn't taste any violence either, but the day is young. So overall, I gave it a Suds rating of 4.
Good old boy, Kendall, what did you think of this beer?
Yeah, I think what good old boy Tim had to say is true. It tastes like a Wicked Weed beer for sure. They're starting to develop that signature character. Not a ton of tartness in this one. It's very faint to me, and like the others, I don't know what a boysenberry is, but I was kind of getting a cross between a raspberry and a blackberry. Very clean, nice drinking beer. I enjoyed it very much. I see what you say when you say jammy tea. I get that a little bit. Also, Jamie T is one of my favorite rappers. So,
oh, dude, I was just thinking that, man. Well
nice
done.
Shout out
well
to Jamie
played.
T.
The new mixtape's pretty solid.
So, yeah, they're very nice beer from Wicked Weed. It's a 4.
Jamie T.
Well,
in the house.
Yeah. So, I mean, in closing, kind of, I think we did pretty good with our road trip today.
I think we've been to some interesting places.
I'm glad I had to turn around and straighten this out,
Yeah. I'm glad that Mike got to spend some quality time in Gainesville seeing what real football looks like.
Hey, before we close out, we forgot to...
Shout out to Tim Tebow.
We forgot to mention our sponsor for this show. This show is sponsored by Carl's House of Tires. We go round and round to get you everything you don't need.
Oh, hi, Carl. We hope you enjoy this episode, and you can catch all of our episodes online, as well as on SoundCloud, TuneIn, Stitcher, YouTube, Google Play, PRX, and Spreaker, our native media host. iTunes, Google Play, and our own Android app are the easiest ways to enjoy the show on your phone. Just search for Sips, Suds, Smokes on iTunes or in the Google Play Store.
We love your feedback, and you can reach us online at info@sipsudsandsmokes.com.
And our daily tasting notes flow out on Twitter every day at Sips, Suds, Smoke, and our Facebook page is always buzzing with lots of news.
Please, please, please take the time to rate this episode. If you're listening to us online, it takes less than 30 seconds, and it's a great big help to us.
Hey, Kendall, why don't you tell us about your blog?
My wife and I blog about the good news of good beer at beermix3.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Well, thank you, guys. Good old boy Dave.
Time to hit the road.
Guess so. Good old boy Mike.
Are we almost there yet? This is good old boy Mike asking you to keep on sipping.
Almost. Good old boy Tim.
Sorry, folks, park's closed. Moose at the front should have told you.
Good old boy Kendall.
It's great to be here. Y'all have a good one. Always ding. Good beer.
When you guys go camping, who makes the fire?
Oh, that's Caperton's job.
Oh, that's Caperton's job?
Yeah.
Really?
He likes to burn
Does he
stuff.
do that before he drinks beer or after he drinks beer?
He takes a brief respite in the middle.
Wow, this is good old gal Julieanna. There's always room in the tent for you guys. Join us again on another episode and keep on chuggling.
Wait a minute. What?
This has been a one-tan-hand production of Sips, Suds, and Smokes, a program devoted to the appreciation of some of the finer slices of life. From the Dude in the Basement Studios, your hosts, the Good Old Boys, will see you all next time.